How's it going, everyone? Next up, we have an edge rusher out of Kansas State in Felix Anudike-Uzomah. So currently, Felix is ranked 41st overall out of all the prospects and is the 7th ranked edge rusher out of all the edge rushers. He is a 6'3", 255-pound man. Unfortunately, he does not have a 40 time as he didn't run at the combine due to a right foot injury and also didn't run at his pro day. He did do a couple of drills at his pro day, but unfortunately didn't run his 40 time. Now, at the beginning of this whole offseason, before the combine and all, he was a projected first round draft grade. He has slightly dropped a little bit and now is projected to be drafted into the late second round. Now, Felix ended up playing only 3 years in college. In his first year, he didn't play much, but he did have a sack, which was a tackle for loss. In his second year, he ended up playing 12 games, had 50 total tackles for 11 sacks and 14 and a half tackles for loss with 6 forced fumbles. And then in his junior year, played 14 games, had 46 total tackles for 8.5 sacks, 11 tackles for loss, and 2 forced fumbles. So a very good past couple of years that has pretty much skyrocketed him into the top 2 rounds. And like I said, he was projected to be a first round pick, but that right foot injury and some of the tape coming out, he started to slide down and is probably going to be in the second round. So the things that kind of made him very likable and projected pretty high, on tape, it looks like he plays with good speed. That's all we kind of have to go off of, considering he didn't run an official 40-yard time. But he has very, very great explosiveness and acceleration. That first step, he is moving. And he routinely beats a lot of his opponents to the punch, especially because he, on the snap of the ball, his first step, like I said, is so explosive that he's able to just knock that punch out from the offensive line and kind of do his moves. He also has very great body control and agility, so he's able to quickly, off the first step, beat the tackle and kind of wrap around and bend towards the quarterback. So he has a very great combination of acceleration and agility to get after the quarterback. Along with that, he also has a very good lower body strength. So a lot of his power is driven from his legs, and it's allowed him to anchor down during the run defense or move bodies as he's trying to get to his position on the run defense, or also with the pass rush and be able to move bodies out. Felix does have a very high motor and he doesn't give up on any play. And he also has a lot of pass rush moves in his repertoire to allow him to pretty much mix it up and not become very predictable. And now for the downside. So he's very good at pass rushing. He has a lot of pass rushing moves. Unfortunately, the thing is, when the offensive line is able to stop him with his first move, he kind of doesn't have a counter move to be able to get by him. So it kind of takes him out of the play. Granted, he's able to come back into the play due to the fact he's got a high motor and he never quits on any play. So it allows him to kind of compensate for that. But once you go to the NFL, he's going to be able to have to learn how to have some counter moves to counteract that, because everyone's an athlete in the NFL, so he's not going to be able to just completely rely on his explosiveness and his high motor. They're great skill sets to have and great intangibles, but he's going to have to develop some type of counter moves against offensive linemen, especially the better ones in the league. Also, despite having pretty good flexibility and bending towards the quarterback, there's still a lot more left to be desired, and he can improve in that area. He's very good at it, but he can improve a lot more. And this is where the development is going to have to come. And he could become elite, but he's going to have to take some time to get that under his belt. Another con of his, during the run defense, he can sometimes be a little bit ill-disciplined and he'll lose his gap control and maybe slightly over-pursue. And that's he's going to have to become more disciplined at that. And then lastly, he did have some flexibility in college. He played on the interior and the exterior due to his size, and he had some versatility, but coming up to the NFL, he's not big enough to play on the interior, and he will probably get shut down. So he's more of just strictly a 4-3 D-end or a 3-4 outside linebacker, and that's going to be his position unless he gains a ton of mass, which I don't think he will, and he shouldn't. He's already a very explosive player. He has decent size, so he's more strictly as an edge rusher type player. If you have a player like this and you draft them for that particular position, and they have a good scheme and they have a good interior lineman, so kind of like how the 49ers have a good interior line he'll be able to succeed. But if he's kind of responsible to slightly kick in, he's going to struggle at the NFL level most likely. And he could develop to be a very good interior rusher, but at this current time, he doesn't have it, and he's going to need some development. So at the end of the day, the Packers, they have a need at edge rusher. Felix is a good prospect for them. It could be a good second round pick for them. We're still, I feel like I say this in every video, unsure of how many picks we're going to have in the first round and the second round. And that's going to kind of dictate what we decide to do in this draft. It's a good prospect. He has a good pass rush. He could learn a lot from Rashawn Gary. Could be a good fill-in and kind of learn the ropes, kind of like how Ignabare has been kind of learning the ropes. He didn't start too much in the first half, but as his number was called more in pass rushing situations, he did well for us. And I feel like Felix could be like that kind of player. We're going to have to look at edge rusher. Rashawn Gary, once again, he's injured. He won't be back till probably midway through the season. Preston Smith is getting older, so we're going to have to find his replacement. So this type of player, he has very great lower body strength. He can play against the run. He can be a good pass rusher, and it could be a good pick for the Packers. And where he's not going to be asked too much, he could be a good rotational player in the first half of his tenure with the Packers if they draft him. But let me know what you think down in the comments. I'm going to try to make a video of all the players that the Packers have brought in for their pre-draft visits. There are a lot, so there's probably going to be multiple videos and multiple days, especially with the draft just around the corner. Hit the like button if you liked the video, subscribe to the channel, and as always, go Pack Go.